All right, we are live. I am joined by Ged from Fabulous Flicks, and we will discuss all the little rumors and comings and goings going on in Star Wars. Ged, how's it going, buddy?
I am doing great. Excited for the Star Wars rundown. I almost feel like we should have ripped remember the old it's the final countdown. We'll just call this
Yeah.
it's the Star Wars rundown.
Yeah. Like there's been it's just like every day I feel like something small comes out and it's like, I should talk about that. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I don't got enough time to commit to that. We got 3PO here.
Is he coming in?
Is 3PO Gray?
This is Gray. He's sort of there. He's almost there. Oh, look at you!
Oh, gentlemen, is this a transmission?
Wow, my goodness!
You wouldn't guess where I'm coming to you from.
Wow. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is from Altered Carbon. Is this
That's a galaxy a long time ago, far away. I just got my booster shot this afternoon, and I would kill for a back to tank. Is really what I'm saying.
I would like to introduce you to my buddy, the rogue leader, Tyler. Tyler, this is Gray. What's going on?
How is it going, Gray? Thanks for joining.
I was about to. I can't stay for too long, but I was just seeing here that you guys were going to be talking about the Disney theme park.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of stuff to run down, but like if you only got a limited time, would you?
Yeah, let's do hotel.
Preferred topic hotel.
Well, so here's the thing, because I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about it. But as soon as I started hearing about this, I started to look into theme parks in general. And that means that my YouTube feed right now is filled with nothing but theme park stuff. And it's fascinating to see the history of these things because, obviously like Star Wars now being absorbed into this Disney machine means some very cool stuff in some cases, right? Like there's sort of a unified vision, that Feige, like we know where we're going at last, which I think a lot of us have looked at and went, well, that's good because didn't feel like it there for a while. But looking at the theme park stuff, Disney obviously being like one of the pioneers here, there was some incredible stuff that was done with the Astrodome and the Astro Parks there, and then we get to sort of the modern era. And I used to go to Disney quite a bit. I haven't been in years, but seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff is fascinating. And so what I wanted to leave you with here, because I think it's interesting, are just a couple of things to get some background around why the theme park industry is the way that it is. There's a channel called Defunct Land, which you should absolutely check out. I'll send you guys some links, and you can put them in the show notes. But I think they'll give you some insight as to between like Six Flags and a bunch of these different corporations, how we get to a point where a spectacle like this can happen, and what might be behind the reasons why this is A, so expensive, and B, why it hasn't possibly lived up to some people's expectations. There's a particular video that I want to send you as well about the Fast Pass thing, because I think this actually also speaks to the experience. When I heard about this thing, I'm like, take my money.
Fast Pass is cool. I've been a lot recently with my small children. Fast Pass is worth it.
So here's the thing: Fast Pass has evolved over the course of the last 20 years, right? When it was first introduced, it obviously reduced wait times for some, but between that and induced demand, there's a fascinating thing that's happened. And this particular channel actually goes through and models one of the theme parks based on a day that was there and shows you the difference in wait time. It's fascinating. Fast Pass is always going to be like the thing, but if you don't have a Fast Pass, do you know what you're missing out on? It's fascinating to see. And the other thing as well is obviously like with the current head of Disney theme parks, the scaling back of a lot of the things I think that people look for, and how that might have affected this particular experience. The idea of basically being able to disconnect from the real world and become part of the Star Wars universe, that still has my heart. And this is also
and everybody here.
and so the other thing here though is that with software, you have the opportunity to patch. Right now, you can't hear in the background, but Destiny 2 is playing back there. And when that came out, it was not quite where we wanted it to be. But it is now probably in the best state that it's ever been. With experiences, it's fascinating because you can't patch someone's memories, but you can build on the things that they found flawed. So I'm curious to see, because they've obviously invested a ton of money in this. This is not going to fail. But I think right now, if you're headed there, you probably know you're a beta tester. And if it's okay with you, that's cool. Because Star Wars, at its core in 77, rough around the edges, a little dirty. You know, where you had William Shatner a year later in the Enterprise A in a white set of pajamas. The Enterprise refit, pardon me, in a white set of pajamas with what was that? Like a cigar box around his waist? Bizarre. But you know, the ultra clean universe over here, you had DeForest Kelley with the deep V and the gold chains. It was definitely 78 in that movie. But you know, Star Wars just had this little bit of grit to it. So maybe that's it.
Dirty, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. We don't have the pristine High Republic here. What we have is something a little
I think the one thing that can't be underestimated here is how much maybe the pandemic has really messed with what their plans were. From some of the readings and videos I've watched, it sounds like they wanted to achieve kind of maybe a couple steps higher, but the pandemic made them scale some of these interactive like live events back a little bit because of, you know, regulation, safety.
Yeah, and I hear that to a degree, but when I saw the video for the Star Wars Hotel and the best they could come up with was that weird kid from the Goldbergs. You did that on purpose. That is on you, Disney. That's the best. And that weird lounge moment, like that's not beta testing. That's like coming out of 100-meter dash and falling on your face in the first 3 steps.
So the question is, like, Disney knowing this now, if you're Disney, how do you make this right? And I think anybody that's having this they
took down the trailer for one, which is funny.
How to make it right?
It's gone.
This is not the theme park you're looking for.
Let me advertise this a different way for you.
Let's pretend like that didn't happen. Do
over.
That was atrocious. Awful.
So, I'd love to join you guys again another time. I got a dash, but I just wanted to say I'll be watching. I've got some stuff to do here. So
it's good to see you, brother. I miss you.
Talk soon, man.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, fellas.
So Ged.
The cameo and dash.
Yeah. Let me set you up with a little history of the parks and then
the parks. Yeah.
Right as we're about to dive into the meat of it.
But you know what? He brings up a fascinating point, right? I mean, when you look at that industry as a whole, maybe you don't have to nail it off the word go. And you know, the last couple minutes, that's really the first thing I picked up when you looked at where any attraction was years ago when it started to where it is now. Maybe we're putting Disney on too much of a pedestal for what we expect. I mean, we look at Disney as a whole and as an attraction, and it's so refined, it's so pristine, it's so clean, it's so perfect. They hire the right people with the right mentality. Everything goes off without a hitch. There is maybe an unfair expectation that when, you know, the ship hotel launches and when these Star Wars attractions are launching, maybe a little unfair to them.
Yeah.
Like, we expect something that is it really realistic?
Yeah, Gray brought up about 2 points that resonated with me and some of the stuff I've been seeing too is number one, absolutely. There's so much money invested in infrastructure and all this stuff to set this park up. It will succeed. No matter how many times they need to tweak it, that user experience will be tweaked. And to his point, the first few people spending 10 G's to roll through this thing, they legit are the base. It's like the people with the vaccine. The first people who got the shot, you are the clinical data because they had emergency authorization for approval.
Yeah, and I'm fine. It's okay.
Yeah, it worked out. You know, it's obviously they will tweak things to make it go, and as regulations change, maybe they could open it up a little bit bigger. And then the other thing too, I heard him kind of nibble at was, you know, some people don't understand the cost that goes into this stuff. And there was another YouTube channel, Drunk 3PO. He apparently has a source who works at the parks and gave him like a big rundown of everything that was supposed to happen. And the one thing I took away from that too was the cost. Like, you don't understand how much it's going to cost to have all these staff members in full character makeup every single day, you know, working the full shift that you're on the hotel. Like, it's not like 5 o'clock hits and, you know,
time to go.
All the aliens disappear off the spaceship. it's there. Like you're not only you're staying there, but you're staying for all those cast members, or you're paying for those cast members to be there. You know, the captain, the singers, the staff, everything like that has to be there, and it all has to fit in the universe. Like the way, and you and me did a video breaking down whether or not we were going to go and all that stuff, where we got a little controversial. And now, since the details have come out, there's no, for one, I think there is an age limit. Someone told me that in the comments on our other video for kids. So my kids, I don't believe, I'll have to look it up, but they don't meet the age limit. And
are you conceding to the fact that I might be right here?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I might not even really be ready to go on this thing, because the way it's now been explained is this thing is not like you could show up and just go to the bar and let loose the entire time. It is literally
it's structured.
It's a structured 2-hour ride. It's essentially an organized LARP, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
actually a really good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. The second you get on to the second you get off is the entire experience. It's like,
LARPing's
okay,
a great analogy.
Yeah, you got to go here, do this, and then you go here, do this, do here, do this. It is like there's no time for doing anything else you want leisurely. So going into it, and it's especially when you're paying that money, you have to be mentally in the place where I'm going to go on here. Like for me, being like an introvert, it sounds like an extrovert's paradise, but an introvert's like okay, so people are gonna bump into me on purpose and like tell me stuff or give me clues or like strike up conversation just because I'm on the ship. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be an interactive experience.
You're in it. You're absolutely in it from the word go.
So to kind of surmise here, you got to, if you're paying the money to go on this, you better be ready to mentally enjoy the hell out of it.
And I think that like regular individuals such as you and myself, as much as we have been fortunate in life and you know, we're very comfortable, there's no way on God's green earth that we are going to be those beta test people. There's no way I'm spending, hold on, what was the what was the tab for 2 nights? Like $6,000 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
You and I are not spending $6,000 to be the beta test.
It's going to be $10,000.
Yeah,
for me to go with my family.
We're not those people.
Yeah, no. And you know what? It's fine, because let it get the kinks out. Let the pandemic shit pass. You know what I mean? Like let everything work its way, and then I'll go in there for the best experience possible.
I agree.
So knowing what you know about it now, has your thoughts or what you thought it was changed at all? Like the trailer was obviously really bougie. Like it was not good, hot mess.
Yeah, hot garbage.
And like the one prevalent comment I got from that video was a lot of people just said it doesn't feel like Star Wars. Like, why did they design
lounge
this?
Killed it.
Yeah, like why did they design this pristine, like nice ship, that brand new, all this stuff, when like Star Wars fans, like they want to ride a Star Destroyer. You know what I mean? Like they want to ride in something they know, like something dirty, like something like that. Like and like I get it, because you're calling it it's an overnight stay. So it's like you don't want to sleep into like a military bunk on a Star Destroyer like a Stormtrooper. You want to like have like a luxury liner. I get that part, but I see where people are coming. Like it's an unfamiliar experience for the amount of money you're going to pay.
I mean, my take on it, which is your question. I mean, I'd still love to go at some point. At some point in time, it's definitely going to happen, but it's not going to be anytime soon. And I still think you'd be absolutely crazy to take your kids on it. There's no way they're going to get the value out of it.
Well, I'm taking them at like 9 years old, 10 years old, probably is what I'm going to take them.
And that makes more sense.
Not going anytime soon. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Once I heard what it was,
you've now retracted, or in the fine words of Barry Kripke, wetwacked your statement on taking your young children because you're the wetwacked.
Yeah, I've witwacted my
What's
my
whacked it?
on the young kids, but I've also retracted myself having to go there as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I
After.
I'm more in the wait and see stage now.
Yeah,
So,
you and I talked about going pretty soon. We talked about
yeah,
in the short term making a trip of this, and yeah, I agree. We're gonna have to put it off.
yeah. Like again,
Right.
it's something going to do. No matter how, even if the reviews are shit,
Mhm.
right? I'll
Gonna do it.
eventually do it. You
Yeah.
got to do it once.
You saw the Rise of Skywalker. It was gonna happen.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other thoughts
wrap it
on
up.
hotel for you?
That's
Good on
good
it?
for a hotel for me.
All right. Let's move on to I think Kenobi series. Let's do.
Okay.
So you haven't seen any of the new quotes out, have you?
No, not in the last couple of days. I did see really cool fanfare on comic somebody found kind of that described how Obi-Wan was able to lay low for all those years on Tatooine, and had to do a lot with all the turbulence between the Jedi and the Hutt family, that it was like a sense of pride for Jabba that he didn't dare tell anyone that he knew that somebody might be there. So the whisper is that the Hutts knew that Kenobi was there, to the point where Darth Vader apparently went to visit, like when he was out looking for the defectors, right?
I wonder if Tatooine's gonna be one of those planets that isn't really under Imperial, the Imperial stranglehold, like because it always was
Run by gangsters.
It's Outer Rim. It's run by gangsters. Like it's the Hutts.
Run by the Hutts.
The guy in town. Are they really gonna fight that battle? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it was almost like he was indirectly not harboring them, but wasn't going to draw attention to it, but was aware.
Yeah. So one Ice Cube Jr.
Like the rapper?
Yeah.
Oh.
So O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube's son. All I really know him from is from the Straight Outta Compton movie. Did you ever watch that?
Like it's actually from Ice Cube's. Okay, yeah, he was in that. He was in that movie Den of Thieves as well, which
he
really
was
awesome. Yeah.
Yes. So he's in Kenobi, the Kenobi series, and again, I believe his character has been kept under wraps. No one knows who he's playing.
But coming straight out of Tatooine.
Coming straight out of Tatooine.
I understand.
Hard ass motherfucking name. O'Shea Jackson.
Yeah. We need shirts for that. Straight out of Tatooine.
Straight out of Tatooine.
Yeah.
Inquisitor. So this is what he said.
All right.
They asked him about the show and stuff like that, and if he could give any details, blah blah blah. So he said, "So hard. It's so hard because like anything that I'll read or see on the internet, I just want to be like, you don't even know what's gonna go down. All these guesses and people going down the rabbit hole. It's funny to watch." But as soon as I get the green light, I might do a 2-hour special talking about everything.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Yeah. So then he says the thing that was most exciting was being on the set, watching the two of them get excited. He's talking about, oh no, that's Kathleen Kennedy's quote. Sorry. So out of that little nugget,
yeah,
the biggest piece there is like, you don't even know what's going to go down, like exclamation marks. So he's saying more or less that all the theories out there, right? All the theories out there, no one, from whenever I see those, I always take it. No one's guessed it right, for one. And if he's again, it's going into Boba Fett territory, and we talked about this about Boba Fett because Robert Rodriguez came out and said that the show will blow people's minds and it will exceed everyone's expectations. And when you say that, my radar and expectations now are up to here. You know what I mean? So now you really got to blow me away with Boba Fett. And when I hear Ice Cube Jr. say this, it's like, well, for one, it's exciting, but two,
absolutely.
And again, you and me have talked about this. My problem with, say, The Force Awakens was my hype level went
unmanageable.
Unmanageable.
Yep.
It's like, we're getting Star Wars again. I saw the first trailer with those X-Wings zooming across the lake to Maz Kanata's castle. I was like, oh my God, like inject this in my veins. When in the movie
Yeah.
walked out, I was like, wow, disappointed.
And not because it was a bad movie, but because
Yeah.
the expectation was just unmanageable.
My
What's
expectation
funny,
was
so
completely
on a
unmanageable.
quick, like, not that I want to take this on a tangent,
Yeah.
but Kevin Feige's come out for the Spider-Man movie and said, like, enjoy this for the movie it is, not for the movie you think you want it to be. And I think that really needs to be the theme. Like, I know people are hyped about, obviously I'm talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, which is different, but at the same time, it's something that's getting so much hype. It's got to be the same thing with Star Wars. Like, again, you and I have had this conversation. You're talking 5 years of fandom.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people like you, me, and a billion other, and they think a lot about Star Wars, and they need to tame that a little bit because the actors get excited, everyone gets hyped. But
well, think about the Force Awakens for a
right?
second. Like the amount of time between Return of the Jedi to the Force Awakens. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How long have people been fantasizing? What happened
Jar
to Luke
Jar Binks?
what happened to Luke Skywalker? Right?
Yeah.
What happened to Luke Skywalker? Not to mention you had the EU books that fleshed it out. But even if you didn't read those EU books, everyone had an idea of what happened to the heroes afterwards. And
Absolutely.
everyone's idea, like what we got in the Force Awakens, was like one person's idea out of millions. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And everyone had to. Then that was my problem. I had an idea in my head what this trilogy movie should be like, and it was nothing like I had predicted, which is what derailed me from enjoying some of it.
Whereas I had no expectations.
Yeah.
I was just excited about the next chapter. And that would be my 2 cents as someone who loves Star Wars, although I am by no means the encyclopedia you are, but who is a huge fan of movie and theater and these sagas and the MCU and anything else that's nerdy, right?
Yeah.
You know, remember to enjoy these for what they are, not what you think they should have been for the last 10 years. You know, Boba Fett's coming out. I must admit, my expectations for Boba Fett are grossly low. Not because I don't think it's going to be good, but because I want to stay ignorant to his story until the word go, because I haven't read the EU books. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't dove into, so I don't have a ton of theories on it. I'm going to enjoy the Book of Boba maybe more than you will. Because I'm going to enjoy every moment of what they have to offer and not, you know, measured against my own expectations. Yeah. And Kenobi's the same thing. People need to set aside, you know, their preferences and what they think is amazing and enjoy what's happening. Enjoy that they got these characters back. I never thought I'd say this. I'm so excited to see Hayden Christensen on screen again.
I think a lot of people are,
And if you told me I was going to say that after the third movie, I would have punched you in the face. But I am fucking pumped to see him get back on screen and reprise that role because I hate to say it, I miss Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I miss Darth Vader.
Yeah. And everything we said there was true about you can't get hyped up. You just got to accept stuff for what it comes out and enjoy it as what we get. But the one thing the Kenobi show has going, and which is kind of similar to Rogue One, is it's in the time period we kind of know and like. It's bringing back the actors who we know. Ewan McGregor, I don't think it's anyone who does not like that man. Hayden Christensen, like you, to your point, lots of people call his acting wooden, blah, 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 whatever you want to say about the prequels. But I think almost everyone who maybe criticized Hayden Christensen is excited to see him come back and what he can do.
And you know what I think helped? The last 5 minutes of Rogue One.
Yeah.
Tell me when you saw him in his prime in Rogue One doing the dark version of what happened at the end of Mandalorian. Tell me you were not. In fact, I think you and I watched it. We were both literally standing up watching what was happening because we were so pumped. Like, this is in the prime of Darth Vader's life. Like, I want to see him wreak some havoc.
Yeah. And that's and like, so when he says you don't again, back to the quote, no, you'll never expect, or no one has any idea what's going to go down. Like, they must be planning some epic, like, we know they're going to fight. Like, we know that, like, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that. She said it's going to be the rematch for the ages or whatever. So it's going to fight. But like, man, like, if they got multiple Inquisitors coming for Obi-Wan and he just downs them all like a boss, and then with the way, if you think about the New Hope meeting, right? When Darth Vader drops, the last time we saw each other, you were the master, I was the learner, but now I'm the master. That always applied to the end of Revenge of the Sith. But now, with the series becoming out, that statement now applies to this series. So again, Obi-Wan might be doing some work against Darth Vader.
Or he gets left for dead. And he leaves him the same way that he left him at the end of the third movie. Because if he somehow defeats him without, say Obi-Wan somehow defeats him, you really think he's leaving him alone and not going back to Tatooine? Come on.
Yeah. Well, I will say
he's the most vengeful being I've ever seen. I think he messes him up.
I like what you're saying there. It just doesn't fit with the quote. But it would be kind of poetic for Vader to kick his ass, down him, and leave him like bleeding out in the sands of Tatooine and be like,
yep.
You know how much I hate sand? You're about to hate it more.
You got it. Yeah. Or else, because here's the thing. If they meet, it has to go that way. Or else there's no way Vader's leaving him alone. He's just going to bomb Tatooine. He's literally going to take out half the planet. He's like, he's in there somewhere. Game over.
Yeah. Turn that planet to glass.
So he's got to think that he's no longer a threat. So does it happen at the beginning of Kenobi? Or does it happen at the end of Kenobi?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What does Tarkin say in A New Hope? He says, when Vader's like, I sense a presence I haven't sensed in a long time. And he's like, Obi-Wan, my old master's here. And what does Tarkin say?
I forget what Tarkin says.
Yeah, something about he must be dead by now or something like that. So he's under the impression that maybe I don't know. It's gonna be tricky for them to fit this show in the continuity of A New Hope. But hey, I'm all for it.
100%.
All for it.
Okay.
Okay, so we think Obi-Wan Kenobi series is going to do some amazing, crazy things.
Yep.
Well, you know what? The other thing too, I just want to touch on before I move on is, again, this series is directed by Deborah Chow, and I find I always bring it up because I find no one else is really talking about it or really excited about it. So she did Mandalorian season 1, episode 3, and then the penultimate episode before Taika Waititi's. And that season 3 episode was when Mando goes back in to get Grogu, when he does like that really covert stuff, you know what I mean? That was like awesomely directed, that episode.
It's fantastic.
And I think obviously because of that, it obviously helped her get the old gig for Kenobi. But it's interesting, all these series have been multi-directors. I believe she's directing the entire series. Like, it's her entire project, which is cool.
Sense.
Which is cool. I'm excited to see, and she's Canadian too, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what she does with it. Okay. So quick notes on a couple of these other things. Rogue Squadron. Last we chatted,
delayed.
It looked like it was going to be delayed, and people were even talking about it was going to be canceled. Now, Patty Jenkins was supposed to be on Cleopatra. She's given that movie up to someone else. So now she's only on tab for Wonder Woman 3 and Rogue Squadron. So again, do you believe, A, this movie is going to get made, and B, is Patty Jenkins going to be the director for it?
Unfortunately, my answer is yes and yes. I was actually, because I didn't know what the news you just shared, I almost wish she'd have taken Cleopatra.
They hadn't really said anything about, she's 100% doing Rogue Squadron. It was, she's now been cleared off. Her slate's been cleared a little bit. She doesn't have to do that other movie. So now it's just those 2 movies she has on the docket.
Yeah, I would have left her with Cleopatra and made a switch.
Yeah.
But having said that, I'm basing that off Wonder Woman 84. And
I still have not seen it, so.
And I don't know the politics that were behind it. Because if there's anything spending time with you and doing these, if there's anything I've learned, and I've learned lots, my biggest takeaway from what I've learned from you and our time together is that there's a lot of the time when the creative direction the director wants to take gets absolutely squashed by the actual media house itself and or the studio itself. And then unfortunately the director gets slammed for it. And that's, I never would have thought of it. I didn't know that. But over the last year, I mean, Patty Jenkins had something to do with first Wonder Woman, and it was incredible. It's one of the best superhero movies of period. And then all of a sudden, this one's a disaster.
Yeah, she's got an Academy Award for Monster, I believe, right?
Yeah, like she's not a bad director. So, I throw shade on Wonder Woman 84 because it wasn't good or it wasn't great. But again, I have no idea what went on behind there. I have no idea how handcuffed she was, right? And Disney, got to give them credit. The dynamic duo who's been bringing Star Wars back to life between Favreau, Filoni. I mean, they know what they're doing, and I hope that Disney's at a place where they're giving them that power, and it's been incredible. So, if that's the case, then I would retract my previous statement and say good. But
yeah,
there's so much about it I don't know. What about you? What do you think? Will it go, and will she be the director?
I think it's got to go because they announced so much stuff for it.
Yep.
And just for me, Rogue Squadron's been my most anticipated Star Wars.
Oh, I know. I know.
But at the same time,
I know. When we bring it up, you got to wear 2 pairs of underwear.
Yeah. By the same time, though, I walk on eggshells around the topic because I'm scared shitless.
You've put it. We were just talking about enjoying.
It's beyond Force Awakens hype, and I've already calmed myself down because I already know, like, they're not putting. I guarantee they're not. Wedge isn't going to be a main character in it. Like, I firmly believe they're using it as a springboard for post Rise of Skywalker material. So it's going to take the idea of Rogue Squadron, with its own new spin. Which again, there's nothing wrong with a new story if you make a story I like.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the one thing I thought was cool though is before all the drama happened with Patty Jenkins, I saw she did a quote. They asked her what the process was in writing and developing stuff like that, and she said, we looked at the Rogue Squadron comics, the video games, and even talked to Michael A. Stackpole, who was the author of the X-Wing novels. And when I heard that, I was like, it gave me a sense of relief because you're bringing in the sources that the fans love.
Yeah, 100%.
And Star Wars Theory had I believe he had Michael A. Stackpole. I could be imagining this. I think he had him on, and they asked if he had been approached, and he had said no. But since then, he's been brought into the loop, and if he's involved in any way, like giving any sort of opinion, I'm in. Like that to me, that's a positive development.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Well, again, we'll have to see. We have no idea what's going to happen, but the movie's going to happen. I don't know if Patty Jenkins is going to finish as the director though. Again, we hypothesized on our last talk about it that I thought Peyton Reed would make an excellent choice. He checks all the boxes, right? He checks I've played nice in the Disney landscape with Ant-Man. I've handled big budget movies. I don't know what his indie career is, but I'm sure he's probably has done some smaller stuff. He has worked underneath the Lucasfilm structure. He's worked under Kathleen, Dave, and John successfully. Everyone thinks that last episode of Mando is the greatest thing ever. I personally love his episode 10, the X-Wings and the Ice Planet, right? That showcases this stuff. So
he would have been my first. My first would have been the director of a couple of the Mandalorian episodes, would have been the director of Thor Ragnarok, would have been the director of Jojo Rabbit. It would
You
have
think
been
he could-
Taika
yeah.
Waititi. And here's why. He works in the Star Wars universe well. He crushes it with aerial combat, and he tells a story brilliantly. He can tell a story with meaning. He can tell a story with humor. I don't know if you've seen Jojo Rabbit, but it is a story that you will laugh, you will cry, you will enjoy, you will be educated. He has the ability to do that, but he also has directed Thor Ragnarok, which is an audiovisual spectacle, and I think suits the idea of Squadrons really well. And it's because of that mix and because of that depth, I would give the nod to Taika Waititi if it was up to me, and it's clearly not.
Yeah, like he obviously he could be a dude who could do it. I got a feeling he wants to develop his own unique property, which is probably why it's not going to be him.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think they got this. I think they got the script, the story, the thing. They just need someone to come in and do the damn thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I think they're looking for anyone who wants to who you want to direct a Star Wars movie. We like you. Come on down, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that wraps it for Rogue Squadron. I think the last thing we want to talk about was Eclipse.
I want to talk about Eclipse for a minute. Saw the trailer, and then I saw your review on it.
Yep.
First of all, I thought it was a movie for the first 30 seconds. It was an incredible trailer for a video game.
Did it remind you of Dune?
It reminded me of Dune meets Avatar. When the being turns around, it looks like an Avatar from Avatar.
Yeah, I see that.
To the point of copyright infringement, it looks like an Avatar.
And the war drums were like Dune, like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very, very Avatar in my opinion. Really intrigued by it. And this is what I love about the new video game stuff is I have no idea what the game's all about. I don't know if it's an RPG, a first person, a third person. I have no idea if it's Jedi based. I have no clue. But they absolutely nailed the trailer for this. I'm dying to see some gameplay.
That's why I did a little looking into it, because I looked at the last game they made. All the games they've made have been kind of similar, where they're kind of like choose your own adventure. So, but even then, it's great narrative, driven storyline, and that's what I think. That's what people want.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you want something where you can be skilled with, but I think having a great story. And the other thing too is the High Republic, the novels, the comics, the tie-ins, all that stuff. The people who've read it, from what I hear, love it. But there's a lot of people who've pushed back against the High Republic because the anti, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Yeah.
But I wonder if they nail this, like if it's like this, like, like this old Republic-esque, like dark, gritty journey. Is that going to open people's eyes? Be like, hey, maybe we should be checking out all this other old Republic stuff.
Well, what's the last game they did for PlayStation?
I think the last like AAA title that came out was Fallen Order.
Thank you. Yeah, and I played a good chunk of Fallen Order.
Yeah,
so good. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and again, it's literally just a cinematic trailer.
Yeah,
like the game could be complete dog shit. We'll never know until it's out.
Yeah,
they could put together a great trailer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're one step up on the on the Star Wars hotel. So
yes, that is true. One step. Bad. They're like a couple flights.
When you watch that and you're like, who is this kid? I was dying laughing. Like, am I missing something here?
Yeah, I'm like, is this a bit
show? Yeah.
Yeah, like I couldn't figure it out.
Oh,
all right, before we wrap up here, Gray has added some comments to the chat. And let's give him a quick little read. Can you see the chat from your perspective over there?
Yes.
Well, I could show them on the screen. Let's do that. All right. Force Awakens.
The Force
Awakens. It was great seeing A New Hope with updated graphics. I completely agree. There wasn't much originality there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Force Awakens made a promise that The Last Jedi kept. Stories can start the same, but they might not end the same. I love when the trilogy went, I'm that guy. Probably probably was that they didn't have the end in sight.
I agree with Gray. I like where they took it. I know you don't. You and I debate that pretty regularly.
Here's my thing. I'm going to do a video on this, but I think I've told you off camera on this, but here's my thing about The Last Jedi. All right. The Last Jedi gets an insane amount of shit, and people blame The Last Jedi for being the movie that, destroyed everything. The Last Jedi is probably my favorite of the sequel trilogies. And the reason why I don't get on some of the decisions as much is because The Force Awakens ended on a damn cliffhanger. Like, what's Rian Johnson? Like, he was already given Luke hermit on a planet. No one knows where he is. He's already ran away. You know what I mean? Like, he was that's what he was given. Like, to know what he was given, like, if he all of a sudden changed it, oh yeah, no, Luke's like this. He never ran away. He's like, does this, and that. Like, it would be like what the Rise of Skywalker was. It almost like he'd be starting to retcon the movie before it. And that's my biggest problem with the Rise of Skywalker is it spent its whole time trying to tell you that The Last Jedi sucked.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, I don't know. But to Gray's point here, the biggest problem was they didn't have an end in sight. It was each person took it their own direction. And the problem is you also had two different people who wanted two different directions, and you could feel the tug of war. Like, again, there is, I know a lot of people love it, but for someone like me, it's not my favorite. But there are elements throughout the trilogy I enjoy. Like, I can name you moments from each movie I love, but I can also name you numerous I really do not like at all.
I want to read the next one because I'm dying for this one.
Okay, next one.
All right, we missed Darth Vader and Hayden, I think, because the Clone Wars show gave us a character worth caring about in Anakin. Absolutely, without a doubt, 100%. Incredibly true. And the beauty about Hayden coming back as Darth Vader is he's not coming back as Anakin. I think
there could be Clone Wars flashbacks. I'm thinking that's something that might happen
for sure. But Vader in his character state will suit Hayden Christensen well.
Yeah.
So I think that we might get the perfect marriage of loving that Clone Wars character from the cartoon, but really being able to enjoy the Kenobi Darth Vader. That is my one hope.
And the other thing too is
one could call it a new hope.
I know Hayden gets a lot of flack for the prequels. But was some of it the way it was scripted for him, like the way the dialogue was written, and like how much freedom did he have to improvise? And him being a young actor, being this is some of his first stuff he's doing, and it's Star Wars, like how much did he feel he'd be comfortable going up to George? Hey, George, you know this scene about me not liking the sand? I'm gonna change that up a little bit.
Yeah, you know how I sound like a whiny little 6-year-old? I'd like to change that up a wee bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be, not only will this be a great story for Vader and Anakin to come back, this could be like Hayden Christensen's redemption series.
Big time.
Yeah. That's what I'm excited to see.
Okay, and last but not least, Hayden can act. George needs an army of editors between him and the set. All I can think about is, if you're a Big Bang watcher, is Sheldon Cooper's like, these words scare me as much as George Lucas director's cut. That's all I could think of when I saw this. Yeah, I mean, and that just furthers on the point you just made. Again, we have no idea how much they're kind of steered in certain directions, right?
What have you seen Hayden in other than Star Wars? I remember he was in
Jumper.
I saw Jumper in theaters, but for the life of me, I can't recall if he was good or not in it. And he was in some show, like he wore one of those like bowler hats.
He wore a bowler hat?
I don't know. He was in it with, I think T.I. was in it. It was like a gangster movie.
What?
Let me pull it up real quick. I you know what? You and me have had this conversation before.
Hayden Christensen. Star Wars, Little Italy, The Last Man. First Kill, 90 Minutes in Heaven.
Takers. It's
Outcast.
Takers.
Oh, it's Takers. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Takers. Oh, yeah, this is why we had this conversation, because your boy, Paul Walker's in it. And Idris
In
Elba.
Takers?
Yeah. Listen to this cast. Matt Dillon, Paul Walker, Idris Elba, Michael Ealy,
Chris
T.I.,
Brown?
Chris
Is someone
Brown,
dancing?
Zoe Saldana.
Oh my God.
It's a
Paul Walker.
cast, man.
It
I need to
really
watch it
is.
again. I need to watch it again because I can't remember if Hayden was good in it or not.
Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, fair. All right.
To Gray's point, he says he can act, so
Takers.
we'll find out.
Yeah, we are gonna watch Takers. 1 hour and 47 minutes of me crying over Paul Walker, and hopefully watching some of the movie.
Yeah. All right, good. Any final thoughts?
All right. No final thoughts. Just super pumped to be able to jump on. It's kind of last minute. It's been way too long. I've enjoyed watching your. I love your reaction videos. My one skepticism is I can't hear you make comments on it.
You know
So
what?
when-
You know
when
what I
the
got.
thing's playing,
You know what I got to fix is when the video plays, the volume is insanely loud compared to everything else. So I have to clip the part where I'm watching it and drop the volume down. And when I do that, my mic volume drops down with it. Because I'm saying stuff as it's going along, but when I'm re-editing it, it's like, I can't even hear what I'm saying.
I must admit, if I'm ever invited on, I would love to do one of those first watches with you. That looks like way too much fun. I feel like we're watching 90 Day Fiance for nerds. You know that 90 Day Fiance where it's like the old cast members are watching the new cast ones, like making comments. I feel like that's basically what that's about.
All right. Well, we will set up some time because we are officially, what are we here?
46 minutes.
14 days away from the Book of Boba episode 1. And I believe
you're still coming down for this.
I was going to say, I believe we're going to watch that together and do a reaction or a review, but maybe we'll do a reaction to it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Theater room is prepped and ready to go.
Looks
the
like
DHL house. The DHL truck made a stop over Black Friday to make a quick swap out. So.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, man. It's great to see you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks, Gray, for coming on as well. And
man.
We'll see you all pretty soon. I'm gonna go hit the equipment back here.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
yeah, you are.
All right. Peace out, buddy.